feel like this. Only been days, but it feel like months.
What's up, my loves? It's your girl, The Real Tay, and I am back with another vlog, y'all. I know y'all ain't been seeing much of me. I know. I get it. It's okay though, y'all. I just been, honestly, y'all, I have fell into a place that just wasn't good for me mentally. But y'all know I be having my ups, I be having my downs. And when I'm down, y'all, like I told y'all, I try to keep that energy away, you know, and I just kind of isolate myself. But your girl is feeling a whole lot better. Round of applause, okay? So right now, y'all, I'm sitting in my car and I'm eating. This video is not gonna be too long. I just wanted to talk to y'all and tell y'all a story. So I realized that I don't give y'all a lot of story times. Let me let my windows down, cause I ain't finna run my car the whole time. Yeah, but I realized that I don't give y'all a lot of story times. So I got a good story time for y'all, and y'all comment down below and let me know what y'all think. I got my food right here, y'all, so I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna talk to y'all. I got me some chicken and some fries from Sharks. If you ain't had Sharks, if you don't eat Sharks, you crazy. Sharks fire. They be putting a little crack on it. Let me show y'all. I'm talking about fire, and it be fresh every time. Y'all, my head itching. I got some new braids, y'all. I don't know if y'all done seen them. Well, y'all gonna see them in some vlogs before this, but yeah, they real cute. Y'all let me know if y'all think they fit me or not, or whatever. We just gonna go ahead and jump right into this story time. As y'all can see from the title of the video, what this story is gonna be about, y'all. Scared me like crazy. But I'm about to tell y'all how yesterday I almost got robbed in broad daylight. Well, I ain't gonna say robbed. Somebody, yeah, basically robbed. And I'm posting this video to spread awareness, because this could have been anybody, and this situation or story could have went a whole lot differently. Thank God it didn't. Baby, y'all, God don't play about me. Angels be all around me. He don't play. But I'm sharing this because, like I said, I want to spread awareness, y'all. And I just want to let y'all know, like, God told me this is something that I need to share. He just put it on my heart because somebody out here needs to hear this. Yeah, I am back. It is so hot out here that my thing won't even stick. Like, my phone keep falling. So please let it stick, y'all, because I do not feel like holding this phone while I tell y'all this story. Nope, it's coming down. I'm gonna have to hold it. Y'all see, it's so hot that this part won't even stick on there. Like, this right here is like some type of sticky stuff, and the sun is melting it. But anyway, since I gotta hold the phone, we're gonna go ahead and get into this story. I'm gonna try not to drag this out because, you know, I don't want to make this all extra long or whatever. Okay, boom. So let's go ahead and get into this story. So yesterday, now mind y'all know me and the boys, we love the park. I'm always taking them to the parks around where I'm at. We actually have a few different parks to choose from. So I always take them to this one particular park. Mind you, I just got tired out of school, so it's like, I want to say 3-something. I hadn't picked Legend up yet because he don't have to be picked up till like 6. But I just got tired out of school, so it's like 3:30, 4, somewhere in there. Broad daylight outside. Broad daylight. So we go to the park. First, he decided he want to go play at the basketball court. Okay, that's cool. Basketball court is on this side, and then across the parking lot is a huge little skate park. Like, it's like got skate ramps and all of this stuff. And, you know, you can walk from either one. So first, I park on the basketball side because he wanted to play basketball first. Now, he didn't stay there too long. He probably played over there for like, I want to say 10, maybe 15 minutes. He played there, but then he came back to the car. He was like, Mama, I want to go and ride my scooter. So I'm like, okay, cool, son. So I pull up over there or whatever. I turn around, I back up, and I pull up on the other side. That way, when we get over there, we don't have to walk all the way across the parking lot. So while we at the skate park, now I'm gonna tell y'all, the skate park is set up to where it's no trees around it. It's no shade, but it is one tree over in the corner. Like, it's just one big tree over in the corner. But it's literally like, I would say maybe 5-6 feet away from the skate park, okay? Mind you, we stay in an area where it's not a lot of crime. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It's a lot of these folks, you know, a lot of them. Don't too much be going on over here. Everybody know how the police is. People say that this is an area where, you know, if they come in, they in and out because they know how the police is over in this area. So I'm thinking, you know, we go to the park all the time. I'm not expecting nothing, you know. Mind y'all, it's a whole bunch of kids out here. It's kids at the skate park. It's people at the basketball park behind us. They even got the baseball field right here connected to it. So it's people at the baseball field. And then it's on the other side of the skate park, it's a playground for the kids. So it's people right here at the playground too. So I'm not thinking nothing of it. I let Titan get out and play, you know, and I'm sitting down. I let Titan get out and play. And I was looking for a spot because they do got a picnic area, but it was some people sitting over here. Like, it's like 2 guys sitting over there in the little picnic area where the tables are. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to sit here. But I also didn't want to sit directly in the sun either. Mind you, keep in mind, y'all, I said that it's like all right here together. So you got the parking lot, you got the skate park, and you got the tree right on there. Right there, directly on the other side. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Now, mind you, the first time I got out of my car, I went ahead and locked the doors. Just keep that in mind. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go over here and I'm going to sit up under this tree. Under this tree, I got a clear view to Titan at the skate park. I got a clear view right here to my car. So it's like right across the street. I can see my car. I can see, you know, I got a clear view. I'm right here on the other side. I'm not even thinking nothing. So let me think. Okay, yeah. So I'm like, I want to sit up under the tree. And y'all, I keep one of those little camping chairs in my car. So I'm like, okay, I told Titan, since it's all right here together, I'm like, okay, Titan, I'm finna run to the car real quick. I'm finna get my chair, and then I'm gonna go sit right here. He like, okay, cool, mommy. He's still on his skate, doing his little... He's still on his scooter, just riding up and down the ramps or whatever. Okay. So I go to the car. Now, mind y'all, when I pop my trunk, like, I don't know, it's just a habit. Like, I hit the lock button, I hit the unlock button, and then I pop my trunk. I don't know, it's just a habit. And then I think I went in my car to grab a water. Yeah, I went in my car to grab a water or whatever. And then I also got my chair at the truck. Okay, boom. I'm like, okay, I'm finna walk across here and sit down. Once again, I gotta walk through the skate park. I gotta walk through. Now, mind y'all, I gotta walk through the skate park to get to my car. So I get my chair and I get my water. I didn't like my doors. I did not like my doors. That's where I messed up at. I didn't like my doors because, mind y'all, it's broad daylight. For one, I was moving too fast. I'm not gonna lie, I was moving too fast. I was trying to go sit down and do something on my phone. I don't know what it was. I think I was actually, while he was doing that, I had a few phone calls that I needed to make, you know, regarding my classes and stuff. So I grabbed my chair. I'm not thinking nothing. I walk over here to where I'm at. I don't lock my doors because, like I said, I'm not thinking nothing. Like I said, if I be honest with y'all, sometimes I do that, but it be okay because, like I said, the area that we in, and then on top of that, it's broad daylight, and all these people out here. You got kids right here, literally on the skate park. You got a lady and her grandkids right here. You got people over here at the basketball court. You got people in the parking lot. people over here at the baseball field, then the playground full of people. So I'm not thinking, you know, okay, you need to, you know, I'm not thinking like, make sure you lock your doors, you know. That's my fault. You know, I will say that. That's my fault. I need to always lock my doors. And so I'm sitting over there. I think I had got off the phone. Mind you, the whole time my chair is sitting to where I'm facing my car, and my chair is sitting to where I'm facing Tiny at the skate park. I got a clear view to him. I got a clear view to the car. But I'm sitting up under a shade tree, you know. Sitting up under a shade tree. And I'm just sitting under here, you know, just doing, I made a few phone calls. I think I sent off a few emails or whatever, and maybe I was scrolling on my phone a little bit. Matter of fact, I had been on YouTube Live as well, so I had just went live and been off or whatever. But however it go, I was sitting over there. I want to say did all that and been sitting there for, I want to say like a good, 20-25 minutes. Okay, so you know, at this point, I'm just letting Titan skate, just letting him, not skate, just ride his scooter. You know, I'm watching the other kids. You know, I'm not thinking nothing. Finally, boom, I see a guy standing in my car. But, you know, I ain't thinking nothing still. Finally, I see him open the door and look like he going in it. And y'all, my thought process is that my car? That's the first thing I'm thinking. Like, is that my car? Like, I'm looking at my car, but it's like, at that moment, like, I kind of had a blank. So, I'm like, hold on, y'all, my arm. Okay, so at that moment, y'all, I'm just thinking in my head, is that my car? But then, it kind of hit me once I seen him actually go in there and pull my purse out. Now, y'all, I know I fucked up. I left my purse in my floorboard along with the diaper bag and some more stuff. You know, like I said, I messed up. I shouldn't have did that. My grandma always told me, hide your purse, put it under the seat, hide anything that you got, put it up when you parking and you getting out your car. I messed up. I would say that. My grandma always tell me that. But y'all, like I said, the neighborhood that we in, you don't see this too often, especially not in the broad daylight, you know. But, like I said, my door should have been locked. That's my fault. And I should have had my purse somewhere, but I know better now. Anytime my purse and stuff is going in the trunk, I don't care. I don't care. So, boom. Let me get back on track. So, I see him pull my purse out the car. Like, the way he tried to do it was he had something in his hand, like a jacket or something. So, he tried to slide it on top of it. And I knew that was my purse because the strap. So, instantly, I hop up, y'all. I'm like, hey, you in my car. And, you know, he tried to go and close the door and just start walking off. Now, mind you, where the skate park at, I told y'all some picnic tables over in this area. It's literally right here. The picnic tables is right here, but you got to walk down a little hill. So, he just casually, he get my purse out and he started walking away. He closed the door and he started walking away. He not knowing that I'm looking at him the whole time. So I instantly hop up, y'all. I'm walking across the court. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm still trying to process what's going on. I'm like, is he really doing this right now? You know what I'm saying? Broad daylight. And the whole time, I'm like, hey, you in my car. I'm like, that, you just went in my car. You trying to steal something out of my car. And he trying to act like he walking away and can't hear me or whatever. Now, it's a lady at the park, an older lady. It was an older lady at the park. She was there with her grandkids. Her grandkids was skating with mine. And was riding their scooters and stuff. And look, they was out there riding scooters and skating. However it go. And she was like, because she thought I was talking to her because she was sitting right here. She didn't see him. She was sitting facing towards me, so she didn't see him in the parking lot at the car. And she's like, what? She was like, what are you talking about? She was like, my babies? My babies? I'm like, no. I was like, no, him. And then she hopped up because she was like, you know, trying to see what's going on. And then she started out with serious. So by the time I'm walking to him, he's still trying to walk off, y'all. But he's starting to slow down because he like, oh shit. He like, oh, that thing just fell finally. But he's starting to slow down at this point because he like, oh shoot. Like, I could tell in his mind, he started to get hesitant. Like, should I run or should I just turn around? But he started slowing down. And in my mind, y'all, also, I'm trying to be cautious because I got my 5-year-old son down here, y'all. Trust me, I keep that thing up under the seat, but the way things was going, I wasn't going to have time to run to my car and then run all the way back over there to where he was. By that time, he probably would have been ran away. So my first process is, okay, just let him, like, I don't even know what I was thinking. I kind of, like I said, in the situation, I kind of went blank. I didn't know how to approach it, but at the same time, I did not want to run up on him because I don't know what he could have had. That man could have turned, he had, like I said, he had a jacket. He had a jacket on top of my purse, and all I could see was black. And I was like, don't get too close up on him. Don't try to run up on him and attack him or nothing, because for one, I never know. He can have a knife, he can have a gun. That man I'm still saying that man, but he could turn around and he could shoot me right now. You know what I'm saying? If he bold enough, if he was bold enough to come and take my purse out of my car in broad daylight with hundreds of people out here at this park, he don't care. So in my mind, I'm thinking about my safety. I'm thinking about my child's safety. I'm like, my son is 5 years old. For one, my son cannot talk well. If anything happened to me out here, he's not able to communicate good enough to tell somebody exactly who I am and who he is and who his people is. Like, he just can't. Y'all know, I told y'all, we getting him tested for autism. He has a speech impediment. A lot of the times, the only people who know what he's saying is me and his dad. You know what I'm saying? So, and his teachers and stuff at school. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. If something was to happen to me out here, my son can't communicate well enough to know exactly what's going on. So I said, I'm instantly like, my mother instincts are kicking in, and I'm thinking in for my safety and other people around here at the park. So I'm like, okay, don't run up on him. Do not get too close to him. Just try to get him to stop. So I walk up to him. I didn't walk up too close. Like I said, I'm walking up to him, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, that you just went in my car. That's my purse. I'm like, I need you to give it back right now, because I'm telling him, I'm like, I'm not in the mood to do this with you today. I need you to give my stuff back right now. And finally, he turned around. I look in his face, and I could tell, it's kind of like he looked like, oh shoot, I got caught. Now, he give it back. In my mind, I'm like, okay, what should I do from here? Should I call the police? Or should I just, like, something just came over me. I was like, should I call the police? Because he did turn around and he gave it back politely. He didn't put up a fight. He just turned around and he stopped and he gave it back. Before I could say anything, the lady that was at the park, she hopped up. She like, hey, did you just steal her purse? Did you just go in her car? She's she walking over there to where we at this point, and she like, hey, she's like, what's going on? Really and truly, at the end, y'all, I told this lady she was an angel, because like, she was walking over there to make sure that I was okay. Once she realized that what I was saying, like, once she realized what was going on, she walked over there to make sure that everything was going, make sure I was okay. So boom, he giving the purse back. At this point, he giving the purse back. Now, he had one of my son's toys wrapped on top of it, because I think that's how I had left it in the car. You could tell he was just trying to get it real quick. So the lady come over there and she's like, hey. She was like, she's like, did you just try to steal our car? She hollering, and she kind of making more of a scene than me. Like I said, y'all, in this moment, I'm calm, because one thing that I've learned, y'all, is in situations, you cannot panic. You cannot panic. You need to calm yourself down so that you can think logically about your next moves, because You know what I'm saying? You need to be calm in situations. Sorry, y'all, I had to cut my car on because, baby, it's burning. It's blazing out here, and I'm getting hot. But let me get back into it. I really don't want to hold this, y'all, but I got to because my thing didn't melt it off. Okay, y'all, this may not be the best angle, but I just need to set my phone up so I can finish talking to y'all. Okay, where was I at? Okay, so I basically was telling y'all, like, at this point, I done got the purse back. Like I said, one thing that I've learned is in situations like this, y'all, you cannot panic. When stuff go on, it does not matter what it is, you know, you cannot panic. You have to be calm enough to actually think about what you're doing. Think about your next steps and process what's going on. So she making more of a commotion than me. She like, hey, did you just try to go in her car? Yeah, I don't know why the screen keep going black. Yeah, but she's like, I don't know why you, she's like, did you just try to go in her car, this and that? And before I could think about it, we both asked him at the same time. We was like, why would you do that? You know, in my mind, I'm like, why would you do this in broad daylight? You know, and he's like, he looked at us and he was like, you know why I'm doing this. You know, he was like, you know why. So instantly, I don't know what's going on with my phone. It literally just went out. But y'all, I'm speechless. I'm just still trying to process everything going on around me. The next thing that I'm thinking, okay, where's my son? You know, I'm looking for him. And I'm also, like, I'm listening to the lady. And then I'm still in disbelief. For some reason, y'all, my phone keep going off when I put it on the tripod. So I guess I just got to hold it and finish talking. But yeah. I'm still in disbelief, so I'm just trying to process everything that's going on around me. Okay. The lady, she like, why would you do that? You know, she's still going off. And he was like, I'm having a hard time right now. You know, he's like, before he can get that out, she was like, we all going through hard times, you know. She was like, but I would never go in nobody's car and steal, you know. She, you know, she just, y'all know how people do. She was like, you know, why would you do that? You know, he's still like, I'm having a hard time in life right now. And basically he said that. Now, mind y'all, when I looked at this boy, I could tell he was young. I looked in his face and I could tell he was young. I could tell he was about 17, 18, somewhere in there. So, you know, I'm like, okay. He's like, okay. He's like, I've been homeless since last year, you know. Basically, he was just coming up with all these stories, basically telling us, trying to find every excuse to justify it. And she's still like, look, we all fall through hard times. She was like, I'm going through a divorce right now. She was like, that don't mean I'm going around stealing. I told him, I said, baby, I'm going through a hard time right now. And, you know, we all go through hard times. I told him, I'm sad. I'm going to be honest with y'all. For one, I don't keep a lot of cash and stuff on me. So, for one, he maybe would have got like $40, $50 out of my purse. And my cards and stuff, like I told, as soon as I would have realized that my purse was gone, them cards would have been, you know, off or whatever. So, and really and truly, it wasn't much on him that he could get anyway. So he's like, you know, I'm having a hard time, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. And y'all, like I said, I'm still trying to process. Do I call the police? Or what's going, like, do I call the police right now? I was like, because he did turn around and give it back. I was like, he gave it back without a fight, and he's so young. I was like, if I call the police right now, this could go a few different ways, you know. And something just came over me, and it was like, you know what? I was like, don't call the police. For one, I knew my doors was unlocked, so they would have been like, you know, but they still would have talked to him and just told him like, hey, you know, that's not cool. We could arrest you. They probably even would have arrested him. Hell, I don't know how that worked. But he turned around and he gave it back without a fight. Like I told y'all, I can tell when he turned around that he's a young guy. Look like he no more than like I said, 17, 18. So I'm still thinking, and mind y'all know, baby, I'm a very spiritual person. I had already been in prayer like a lot that day. You know, I'm always talking to God. I'm always praying and stuff like that. So something just came over me, and it was like, you know what? I was like, don't call the police. I sat there and I talked to him for a minute. You know, crazy, y'all. Mind you, I'm talking to the guy that just tried to steal from me, tried to rob me, and I'm talking to him. You know, I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared at that point. You know, I wasn't scared because, like I said, I don't know, something just came over me, and something told me to talk to him. And I could just see it. Y'all know how when you see a person, you can just look them in their eyes and you can just see. Like, it's something about eyes, y'all. I looked in his eyes and I can just see sadness, darkness, or whatever. So I'm like, okay. And mind you, he said he was homeless. He been homeless for like a year. I don't believe it, because for one, you can always tell a homeless person. You can tell he had been groomed. Like, he had decent clothes on, you know, he had a haircut and all that stuff. So I'm like, you probably not homeless. You probably a kid that you probably got parents, but you don't want to listen to your parents. Like, I just felt that type of vibe from him. Like, he was one of those type of kids who just feel like he out here can do what he want to do. Probably, you know, been getting into trouble and stuff like that. So I just sat there and I started talking to him. And again, I'm like, why would you do that? You know, and something just came over me. And it was like, you know what? You just need to talk to him and tell him that I'm being obedient. I'm telling him what God is wanting me to tell him. Sorry, y'all. Somebody had called me. But let me just figure it out. Okay, y'all. I know this is not the best angle, but just bear with me, y'all. My hand getting tired from holding the phone. So I'm still in disbelief. I'm still trying to figure out what my next move should be or whatever. But since he turned around, no fight, he went ahead and gave me my purse. I was like, you know what? It's no need to call the police, but you should. God just came over me and he was like, you need to tell him these words. And me and the lady, we both got the same thoughts came in our head. We told him, we was like, for one, we was like, this could have went totally bad for you. Somebody could have killed him. You know what I'm saying? And he don't know. You just going in people's purse. Anything could have happened. Anything could have happened to you, you know? And I'm telling him, I'm like, things could have went a whole lot differently. You know, just say, you never know. Things could have went a whole lot differently. I was like, for one, I was like, I could have shot you. Somebody else could have shot you. You know what I'm saying? The police could be right here arresting you right now. I was like, but I'm not going to do that. I was like, because God's sparing you today. I'm telling y'all, these are the exact words that came over me. Like, I'm telling him how I'm feeling, because y'all, in the inside, like, a feeling just came over me that I could not explain. And it's like, the words just started coming out of my mouth. And I'm telling him, I'm like, this could have went differently for you today. I was like, God spared you today. And I'm just talking to him, and I can see in his eyes, like, I'm seeing him, he about to tear up and all this stuff. Like I said, he's probably not homeless, but he's probably, you know, he probably lost. He looked lost to me. Like, sometimes you can just look at people and tell that they lost in life. And I told him, I was like, you know, God spared you. Things could have went a whole lot differently for you. But also I had to think, like, things could have went a whole lot differently for me too, you know. But I was like, God wanted me to talk to you right now. And we talked for a while or whatever. And the lady, she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, I feel the Holy Spirit right here. She was like, I'm a firm believer in prayer, you know. And I told him, I said, whatever you going through, I told him, you need to pray about it. Pray about it. Because stealing from people, that's one thing that people do not play about. Stealing things from them that they worked hard for, or stealing makes people fear for their safety. Somebody can kill you and they got the right to kill you, shoot you dead, shoot you down right there. And we just talked or whatever, and I just told him, like, I could just see it. He almost, I could tell he was fighting tears, At this point, I'm standing around him, the kids and stuff that came around, people in the parking lot kind of standing around, looking. And I'm telling him, I'm like, look, I don't know what it is that you're going through. I don't know what's on your heart. I told him, I said, I'm going to pray for you. The lady told her she's going to pray for him as well. And, just talking to him, I'm not gonna go into complete detail of what I said because I don't want to leave out no parts or whatever. But I just talked to him, and I just felt like when we left there, the lady was like, I feel like God put him there. God just had us talking to him to change his life. And y'all, sometimes God will do that. Sometimes God will use you for other people. Like I said, he was so young. I could have called the police, but he was scared of shit. You can tell that this was something that he probably hadn't did often. And if he had, he probably done stole stuff before. Maybe done stole out of store or something before. But you can tell that this was a bold move. He said, like, once I realized that, you saw me and you was saying something, he was like, I just turned around and, decided to give it back to you. He apologized and everything. Like, he was like, I apologize. He was like, I appreciate it. Because I told him, I was like, sir, when you stealing from people, you got to think about what you're doing. I said, you taking out of my baby's mouth. You taking out of my kid's mouth. If you would have took my purse, that could have been all the money I had to feed my kids for the week. And God will, and I was telling, like, God will punish you. God don't play, stealing and stuff like that. God don't like stuff like that. So you don't know, stealing from somebody else, you don't know how you'll get your karma back, because like we all know, you got good karma and you got bad karma. What you put out is what you're going to get. And if you put out bad karma, God going to return that somehow. So I just talked to him or whatever. And, at the end, and something was telling me, I was like, okay, maybe I should. And that's just the person I am, y'all. I did not have much. I'm telling you, all together, combined with the money I had in my wallet, and then on the cards, I probably only got like $100 to my name, if we being honest, if that much. And something just told me, like, and y'all know I got 2 kids. That $100 with kids don't go far. Diapers, wipes, milk, feeding them, and all that stuff. And I still was about to give him something. But as he kind of, I ain't gonna lie, he kind of talked himself out of it because he got to talking a little bit more. And I was like, okay, something not right about this. I feel like you just was trying to have a quick little come up, because you seen my purse right there. And in the end, this what really made me decide to not give it to him, because I seen him, like, he was so shook up. I told y'all at this point, like, it kind of was like people was looking, people was trying to figure out what was going on. So he put out and mind y'all, I wasn't trying to embarrass him or nothing. Like, I still was quiet about the situation or whatever, trying to just talk to him. I wasn't loud or whatever. I just talked to him, and we kind of went from there. But like I said, something came, like, which I feel like when God tell you to do something, you should still do it. And I probably should have still did it. I was about to give him something, because that's just the person I am. I was about to give him, even if it was just $5-10. But like I said, he kind of talked himself out of it. And then in the end, he pulled out a box of cigarettes. And I was like, okay, no. I was like, first of all, I was like, you smoking cigarettes. If you smoke cigarettes, I can just tell that he wasn't homeless. I'm gonna just say that he probably was gonna take the money and go and buy some drugs. I don't know how young people be. They just be trying to. His parents probably wasn't giving him. He probably ain't got no job. His parents probably not giving him money. Like I say, he probably one of those kids who think he can do what he want to do. Probably stayed in trouble a lot, and he just out here just running the streets by himself. So once I seen him pull out the cigarettes, I'm like, okay. So now, me and the lady both thinking like, okay, so now we know that you're not off as bad in a situation as you're portraying it to be. Like I said, y'all, I pay attention. At the whole time I'm looking at him. He's groomed, he got a backpack. The backpack, he not dirty or nothing. His hair did and all that stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, you're not homeless. You got somewhere that you're going to. I'm sorry, y'all. People keep calling me. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So me and the lady both like, okay, like, you're not that bad off. I'm looking at his backpack. It's a decent backpack and stuff like that. So I'm kind of putting it in my mind, and maybe, I don't know, because you can't judge a book by its cover. So I'm like, okay, I feel like he's not as bad off as he's saying he is, So like I said, in the end, he ended up apologizing and, just really saying how sorry he was and all that stuff like that. And I just left him with, I was like, just take today as a day to change your life. I was like, because God spared you. He don't know. It could have been, you know what I'm saying? It could have been anybody watching him. If my kid's dad was there, things would have went a whole lot differently for him. You never know. Or just say I would have been a little bit closer to my car. Anything could have happened. I could have pulled something out of my car. Because like I said, I ain't gonna put it in the camera, but y'all hear that? It's in there. That's all I'm gonna say. So that happened. Scared me. It kind of scared me, but at the end, y'all, in the end, I wouldn't say that I was scared. I feel like it was more so like as a lesson for me and for him. And y'all, let me tell y'all what's so crazy. This is how I tell y'all, God be protecting me. I be having angels everywhere. That woman was something. She was old. She wasn't gonna be able to do nothing, but she still ran out of storage, y'all. I don't know why it's been so complicated for me to get the story out. Maybe somebody needed to be hearing this, but yeah, like I said, y'all, this is how I know I be having angels, because this lady was older. She wasn't gonna be able to do much. I wasn't gonna be able to do much, but she stepped in and, just trying to make sure that I was okay. And she stayed with me the whole entire time. Like I said, people was watching, but they didn't really just walk up because they didn't know exactly what was going on. So, and this is what I was gonna say. Y'all, we left the park. Later that day, I seen that same lady at a different place, which was so crazy, so coincidental. Never knew her, never seen her before in my life. And she was like, hey, it's you. We ran into each other again, and she just talked to me. She was like, hey, I'm praying for you or whatever. And shoot, it was a lot. But that's how I know, like, God was with me in that time, and when we left there, me and her talked for a minute or whatever, and she was just telling me, she was telling me a little bit about her situation or whatever, and I was telling her a little bit about mine, and she was like, look, we all going through hard times. That don't mean you should ever steal anything. Like, and I was like, you right, I agree. And however it go, we ended up leaving. After that, I left, and I went to go pick up my other baby. But as I was saying, this was a learning lesson for everybody. It was a learning lesson for him. It was a learning lesson for me, because for one, that just let me know I gotta, like, y'all, I'm a very cautious person. I pay attention to my surroundings, but I gotta be more on, I need to start, like I said, making sure every time I lock my doors, I hit that lock 2 or 3 times, making sure I don't have things, because y'all, I got a fishbowl. Somebody can look right up in here and see everything. And I need to make sure that I be putting things up, you know what I'm saying? And I need to make sure that, now mind y'all, I always keep pepper spray and stuff on me. I did at one point, but y'all, I don't know, I think somehow mine got lost, and I haven't bought any more since, just because I've been steady putting it off. And it's like, I think it's like $25, and I just didn't want to spend that $25 for the one that I be getting. Because I get the one that's like gel, so that when I spray it, it don't spray back on me. It only go directly on the target. So I just kind of been putting it off, but that just let me know, like, I gotta stay more aware of my surroundings. I need to get something to keep on me, because, you know, just even if he would have just tried to turn around and attack me with my bare hands, I keep my keys on me. If I would have had the pepper spray on me, I would have been able to at least get him off me, or make sure he didn't get too close before I defended myself. So, yeah, it was a lesson for me. I prayed that it was a lesson for him, you know, because like I said, God spared him today because it was me. God used me. Now, if that was somebody else, that could have went a whole lot differently. You know what I'm saying? Things could have went a whole lot differently for him. And he's so young. Like I was telling him, you still got a future. You still got time to turn your life around and make better for yourself. You don't have to be out here stealing. If you only 18 years old, your life's just getting started. Don't end it. What you're doing is gonna bring you a world full of trouble, and it's only gonna leave you in two places. And we all know what that is. So, like I said, I hope it was a learning lesson for him. Even my man, he was like, look, that's a learning lesson for me too, because that's a whole nother thing. Like, we going through our personal stuff, and he just felt like, you know, this is a time where I really should be there to protect y'all. But like I said, we got our own thing going right now. But like I said, I'm always at the park, y'all. So I pay attention to my surroundings. But that just let me know that I got to be on top of it just a little bit more. You know, it's me and my children that be there. So I can't get caught slacking at all. And I can't say, like, being in areas and stuff by myself, because like I said, y'all, it was broad daylight. It's almost like that happened for a reason, because it just did not make sense. Like, it's broad daylight. You see all these people right here. You see, it ain't no type of, you know, my car, I would say my passenger side, you could say that was kind of in a blind spot, but my car wasn't in a blind spot. And it's people on this side too, but they was down the hill, so I guess you can consider it a blind spot as well. But yeah, I just wanted to post. I wanted to make sure that I told y'all about this, because I know somebody. This is to spread awareness, and also to just let y'all know that sometimes God will use you as a vessel. So I'm telling you, somebody need to hear this. Sometimes we think that, you know, when we praying and stuff like that, and we going through things, we always think about ourselves, not knowing what somebody else going through. And sometimes God puts you in places so that you can be a vessel for somebody else. It's not always about you. You know, as much as we like to think, like, God just simply probably had me there at that time, probably let the situation happen like that. We never know, to change his life. You know, we don't know what direction he was headed in. Even when I left, he was so shook up, y'all. He just sat there. He sat there for a minute. He didn't. That's another thing, y'all. He didn't try to leave the scene. So that's how I know that God was trying to tell him something, because he didn't try to leave the scene or whatever. He just sat there. You know, he sat down. He smoked his little cigarette or whatever and sat at the picnic table. And he was just quiet or whatever, just sitting there. And I ended up leaving or whatever, but he was still there when I left. And I just said all that to say that, you know, sometimes, like, we don't even be realizing that, you know, you just never know what nobody going through. And sometimes God use you for other people. So we got to be mindful of the things we do. I also wanted to spread awareness, y'all. Like I said, somebody needs to know, like, if you when you in certain situations like that, you cannot panic. You have to calm down to be able to think rationally. You know what I'm saying? That's just like, okay, if you get on the boat, they gonna tell you, before you panic and you try to go save your baby, you got to save yourself first. So the first thing you gonna do is calm down and get your vest on so that you can go and get your kids. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to, you know, come on here and tell y'all about this story, this day. Like I said, it was crazy. But I wholeheartedly believe everything happened for a reason. And like I said, I don't know exactly what it was, you know. Like I said, y'all, I could have called the police, but something just came over me, and like I wasn't scared. I was not scared. And I just felt like I said, I just felt like God spared him, because he used me as a vessel to talk to him and let him know, this is not the way I want your life to go, So I hope and I pray that whatever he's going through, that he can see a way out and he can figure it out. Because like I told him, I said, I'm going through my own stuff. It's been a year of hell for me. But I've been getting through it. And I've been praying and I've been talking to God along the way. And I told him that he should do that. I told him prayer changes things. Prayer changes things, and you may not always get instant gratification. You can't think just because you're praying and talking to God and going to church and things gonna change. I'm telling myself this. It does not work like that. You have to wait on God's timing. So, like I said, I'm telling myself this too, because sometimes I get it. I'm human too, but I feel like that was just a learning lesson for all of us. And I just pray that maybe somehow that helped him turn his life around and, get himself together. And yeah. But that's pretty much what happened, y'all. Comment down below and let me know how y'all would have reacted. Like, what y'all would have did. What would y'all have done in this situation? Tell me what I could have done differently, because like I said, y'all, my babies love going to the park. Going to the park is like a safe space for us. So I don't want to rip that from them. I don't want to rip that from them. The park is supposed to be a fun place for kids. I don't want to rip that from them. I love going to the park. So I don't want to stop going to the park just because of this incident. So that's why I say, y'all comment down below and let me know how y'all would have handled the situation differently, and what would y'all do now moving forward, just to take better precautions and things like that. Because like I said, it was scary, and I left the park after that, and I was like, I'm probably not gonna go to that park again. But really and truly, like I said, I think he was just a young boy just trying to do something. I think I can go to that park today and see him there, and he'll speak to me. I can tell that he's just probably like a lost child, a troubled child, or something like that. And don't get me wrong though, you never know what's on somebody's mind. Somebody can always do something to you. But that's why I said I'm going to find better ways to protect myself. We supposed to be going shooting this weekend and stuff like that, just to make sure that get everything together. I'm going to go get me some more pepper spray to keep on my keys. That way, if I can't get to nothing, I at least got that, Because how I look at it is like this. Pepper spray, people say pepper spray ain't gonna do nothing if they got a gun. I'm like, hey, if they got a gun, they gonna shoot you. They gonna shoot you anyway, But if somebody try to attack you with their bare hands, it can go a long way. Pepper spray would definitely get somebody off of you. Have a grown man crying. So y'all just let me know what y'all would have done differently and how y'all would have handled the situation. Do y'all think I still should have called the police? Because, I thought about it after. I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe I should have called the police and reported it, because what if he try to do this to somebody else, But I don't know. In that moment, I just was thinking like, something just like God just told me to just let it go. I feel like that was God just telling me, just it's okay. I protected you. I protected you in this situation, and it's okay to move on and move forward. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened, y'all. How I almost got robbed in broad daylight. Crazy, right? But if y'all stayed this long, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.